but the best player in the portal this year was probably Yaxel Lendeborg from UAB. Double-double guy, average 4 assists a game, can shoot it, big, strong, NBA measurables. Isaac, you were able to talk with him yesterday, and I believe, Dagan, we do have the video from the interview that you got with Yaxel Lendeborg at the Combine.
I know I just said 60-40 with Michigan, man, but this whole process is really opening my eyes, you know, like I feel like now I'm definitely equal. Like I'm super stuck, quick stand, whatever you want to call it, I'm stuck in between for sure.
What do you need to hear to stay in the draft?
I mean, I just want to be in a position where I'm like, you know, I'm safe. You know, I know that I can get the opportunity to play, opportunity to prove myself, and just hopefully a guaranteed contract would be cool.
Can you speak to the NIL situation at Michigan and how they're, you know, looking to be competitive with what you could get here in the NBA?
Yeah, they threw out their number, and, you know, it wasn't really much of a competition. You know, the competition for them was more like just the trust in them, you know. It wasn't about the money. We made it a point that the money wasn't going to move me anyway, you know. So just the coaches, you know, honesty and faith and belief in me was what was competing with the NBA.
All right, Isaac, I'm hiring you into a brand new role. You are an advisor for all of these guys left in the draft class. And that's what we're talking about here. It's not what do you think is going to happen. If you were advising Yaxel Lendeborg, a guy that's got a chance to be a potentially a top 20 pick, probably at this point a lock to be a first round pick, right? What are you telling him to do? Are you saying take the money at Michigan, which is from
sing the song, Rob? Rob, sing the song.
Should I stay or should I go? What's he doing? Is he staying or is he leaving, Isaac?
You know, he says it's 50-50, but if I'm advising him, I'm honestly telling him to take the money at Michigan personally. I think that type of offer that he could get there is enormous. I don't know how much his stock is really going to change after like a year. Like if he comes back next year, it's like, all right, like another 6'9", 240-pound vet who has a huge wingspan, who can pass, dribble, and shoot, plays a position that everybody looks for at the 4. Like how much is really feasibly going to change? So like, yeah, like I think the idea of him as a first-round pick is certainly in play, but like I think he definitely needs a guarantee. And if we've known anything from the past few years in the NBA draft, like those guarantees don't come that often. Like teams want to be flexible, they want to have mobility, stuff like that. So yeah, I think that if I'm advising him, I would probably leave Michigan, even if that's like semi of a hot take, because everybody just goes, oh, he's definitely going to be a first-round pick. He definitely is going to get a guarantee, and I'm just not sure a guarantee is going to come.
Goodman?
Yeah, I wonder is Yaxel a big roulette player? Because I think that's what he's doing here. I do. I think that's what he would do. You know, you go back to Michigan, you know you got $3 million on the table, right? Otherwise, you are playing roulette right now with your career. Like, do you take the given? Like, are you a conservative person or are you going to roll the dice? Because, yeah, sure, he could go 20 to 25. He could also fall out and go 35, and he'll get a guaranteed deal at 35. The investment is not the same. That's the biggest thing. It's not necessarily the money. It's the investment by the general manager to make sure a guy succeeds when he drafts him as a first-round pick. And Yaxel could easily fall out of the top 30. So I'm kind of with you here. I would be conservative. I would take the money in hand. And playing for a program like Michigan, when you've been at a mid-major level at UAB for you know your career, experience that, prove it again at Michigan in the Big Ten. Everybody will be watching you. Where, let's face it, not a lot of people have watched you, certainly fan-wise, over the last few years.
Yeah, and I think the point that you made, Isaac, earlier about do you want to play in the G League, right? If you end up being like the 25th pick in the draft, there's a very, very likely chance that you end up being drafted to a team that is already a playoff contender, right? And at minimum, you're stepping in and you're going to end up basically just kind of being a role piece, right? And if you're good enough, you're going to find a way to be able to work your way into that rotation. But a lot of times that ends up being a guy where you're going to make some guaranteed money, but you're going to be doing it playing, going up and down between the G League and the NBA roster, or, you know, sitting on the bench in street clothes as the guy that kind of helps out in practice, whatever it is. And the one thing that he does have going for him at Michigan is we just saw what Dusty did with Danny Wolf, right? It makes no sense that you should play Danny Wolf and Vlad Golden together and have both of them in a position to be able to be like NBA draft picks. But Danny Wolf might end up being a top 20 pick coming from Yale, where nobody thought he was a potential pro. And Vlad Golden's going to find it, either get his name called or he's going to be signed by someone. Like, he will be on an NBA roster at some point next season. And I think that knowing Dusty knows how to be able to make it work with big guys at the college level, to me, it's probably worth taking the money, which I don't know if you guys have heard something different. I've heard it's in the 3 million range. It's hard to kind of know for sure what that is, but if you can get that kind of money from Michigan, I think that you take that money from Michigan if you're Yaxel Lendeborg. The other